factors of why you can't retain clients, the fact that, and the two main factors of why you can't retain stylists. And it comes down to two different principles. We're going to cover them in a second. But if you have an issue with doing people's hair and having them leave, then it really comes down to two problems if they don't return. It's your product or your personality. Same thing with holding on to a staff. Like, are you the type of owner that you have team members that come in and they work for a couple months or a year and they leave? Like, there's obviously some other underlying factors in that, but typically it's your skills as a leader or your personality. You just may not be likable. And a lot of people, that's a hard pill to swallow. Like, what we do is very relational, not really transactional. And the kind of person you are, how likable you are, the conversations you have with people, like, that's a big part of the experience of going to you for a service. How likable you are, it's a big part of why people want to stay in your salon, be part of your team, and be part of the culture. So I'm going to go jump over to the whiteboard behind me, and we're going to break this down very simple. All right, James, are we?
We're good.
We're good.
Yeah, you're looking extra ugly.
All right, cool. So you guys can see me, right? This breaks down to very simple pie chart. So picture this is the pie, right? Right down the middle is 50-50. So in order to maintain your client base and your retention rate, you need to have personality, right? I'll just go personality, right? That you guys got that right here, personality, and then your skill. Now, we're gonna jump colors here. So you guys can kind of read that right now. It's personality. I'll throw a T up in there. When you start your career off, you don't have a lot of skill, right? It's going to take you time to develop this skill. So you might have to be maybe, let's call that 25% skill. So right in here is your skill. Your 25% skill of this pie chart, which means your personality has to make up an extra 25%. So you have to be 75% likable. And you're not going to hear me on that microphone, right?
No, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so put it on your headphones. Make sure you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Let me see. I didn't even think of that.
Yep. So did you get that, James? Can you hear me now? Is that better? Can you hear me?
Much better.
All right, cool. All right, guys, so I'm going to recap that.
But you can hear it.
Yeah?
You can hear it.
So if you just started doing hair, you have like not a lot of skill, much like also being an owner. So if you just started opening a salon, your leadership skills aren't there. Like, you have to work on your personality. And then as you develop as a leader, your skills will get better. So your personality has to make up 75% of that pie chart. But here's where the problem happens, guys. You don't do that, right? Let me get the black one out right here. What happens is, next time we do this, James, I have to use the other mics for this. So I'm going to go like this. We got room? So what happens here, you guys like my mic stand here? Is that good?
It works, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so what happens here is you have to become likable. And you got to complete this pie chart. Well, what most people do is they don't work on the personality. They're not very likable. Okay? You're good, James?
Yeah, I'm just getting, I have an idea for mine.
All right, cool. And you're going to lose people because you don't have enough time from being an owner to really have the skills in leadership that you need. And much like if you don't have the time you need to develop the skills of doing hair, you have to have something else that retains your clientele, that makes them want to stay with you. And so you can take all the classes you want, and it's going to take you a while to get that skill set, much like owning a salon. But here's the deal. If you don't have a great, pleasing personality, if you're not likable, and you're actually, what do you get me, another mic? A handheld? All right, cool. You got the handheld for that? I can hold this like this too. And if you have, let's say, 25% personality, okay, and half of this pie chart is empty, you're 50%. You're going to be half as successful as you can be. So you have to make up for skill or personality somewhere. And if you can't do that, then you're not going to be successful. So if you need more time to get better at doing hair, you can work immediately on your personality, on being more likable, on being better understood, on communication. These are soft skills. You don't need a lot of experience for them because you're a human. You have life. You can easily become more likable. Right? Thanks, James. All right, a little technical difficulties here. All right, so now we got the mic back up. Now, what does this mean? Let's talk about some skills we have here. How do you stack skills and make yourself better at what you do? All right, so back down to the pie chart again. Personality-wise, let's focus on that because a lot of people, that is the lowest barrier to become successful. You could become a better communicator, right? Communicate.
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
Cool. Don't judge my spelling, guys. Communicate. Good. I'm not good at this writer board. Now, what else can you do? You can listen. That's part of communication. Here's where people go wrong. As a new stylist, what begins to happen is you overdo the conversation to make up for the lack of skill that you have by speaking too much about yourself and about things you're comfortable about. So what I want you guys to do is be more interested than interesting. And even as new owners, this applies to you too. You try and tell them everything you're going to do for them, but instead, why don't you find out what they want done for them? Like, what kind of environment does your team want? Like, how can you better serve them as an owner? Because we are in the service industry, whether you're serving clients that you're doing their hair in the chair, or you're serving your staff members by creating an environment for them that they can flourish in, a salon that they can really thrive in. It's up to you to deliver that. And you can't deliver that if you don't have the leadership skills or the business skills yet. So you have to make up for it by communicating, listening, and just being a servant leader. And it's not about being the hardest owner and creating boundaries and being so strict at first because you don't even know what you want. What I want you to do is go back into your mind and think about what it was like to work as a stylist in a salon. What were the things that owners did to you or with the salon team that you just did not like? And why are you doing them now? Like, it goes back to like childhood and parents and like that whole like domestication rotation in life where your father was an alcoholic, now you're an alcoholic, and then your grandfather was like, it just keeps going generation to generation. Leadership and ownership a lot of times is much like that. So you're going to find yourself doing things that your owners did because you don't know any better. And what happens is ownership is hard, is very difficult. And when you open a salon, if your owner implemented like a 10% or 50% charge on you for color, well, you didn't like that when that was done to you, but now you're in a position of an owner and you realize you have no money coming in. So what do? You do what you know, and that means you're going to charge your team a 15 or 10% color charge on the back end of their commission. But if you were learning skills, right, you start stacking skills and you listen to your team, you would realize that they don't like that, obviously, and then you have more skills of leadership and learning about how you actually make a salon more successful. You realize there's something called parts and labor. And then now you can do parts and labor where you don't have to pay for the product. Your clients or your stylists don't have to pay for the products, rather, but your clients do at checkout. So you start learning new ways to run your business and your company. And that's when now you start equaling skills with communication skills and personality, and you have 100% of that pie chart as an owner. So it's important. I can't stress it enough that everything you do in life, whether you're an owner or whether you are a stylist, you're going to have two main reasons why you can't hold on to staff or you can't hold on to clientele. And it's going to be the skills that you have, the actual technical skills, doing the hair, doing the color, doing the blowout, and the personality. You can easily fix your personality. So, James, I'm going to jump back over to the other one. Is that cool?
Yeah.
We're going to jump to the other camera real quick, guys.
Just move that mic over by the.
You want me to hold this one? Or we got both going.
Hold it on.
All right, cool.
That one over away.
I'm just going to plug this one. Cool.
Huh? You can hit mute on the button. On the mute button.
All right. Which mic is this? One? Three? I just dropped it down. Cool. All right, guys. So we're back over here. The one thing you can't control is your personality. And you don't need to like wait a long time to get those skills. You know what it means to be a likable person. Just fix that. So when I talk to stylists and even my own one-on-ones I do with my team, and I take a look at their retention rate, because that's the key number in order to be successful. That's the key number to be successful as an owner. If you could retain staff members and build them up, and then you have a staff of 10 or 20 or 30, or you have 5 salons, and you're always keeping team members in because you build the team and the team builds the business, that's a very important number. How do you keep that retention rate? And if they can't hold on the stylist, so what I do is I ask the owner, is it a people problem? Like, do they not like the management? Do they not like you? Is there a personality issue with that? Like how do you fix it? You need better skills. You need better leadership skills. Like you may have a really crappy commission structure. Yeah, that's part of it. But if you're super likable, stylists will deal with that because the environment isn't toxic. It's welcoming. So a pleasing personality goes a long way. It's 50% of that pie chart. The skills you can always stack up if you're likable and they like being around you and you're a pleasure to be around. Now, the same thing goes for my team when I do my one-on-ones. And I ask them, hey, your retention rate's 40%. Why is that? Like, why do you think that is? Is it your personality or is it your service? And they always know the answer. You know, they always know, my haircuts weren't that great. I tried this new color technique lately. I've just been off. All right, what's going on with your life? Like, what are you off for? Like, what's happening? And that gives you a chance to truly be a leader and find out what is the underlying issue and then how do we fix it. It might just be a cutting class. It might just be a color class. But if it's a personality thing, then you have to really break down and like, what is it about their personality that they need to fix? Because this is a service industry. Like I talk to people all the time and they're like, I'm not a people person. Why are you doing hair? Our whole job revolves around people. So I don't understand why you would pick a career that revolves around doing hair if you don't like people. That's the whole entire business. So you guys have to, if you keep telling yourself you're not a people person, then you're never going to become a people person. You have to tell yourself you are a people person. You have to love people. You have to love communication. You have to love listening. You have to love that just as much as you love hair cutting and coloring. It's a huge part of that. Now, where this gets really fun is on that pie chart, you can slack in one area if you're very, very well equipped with the skills of doing hair. Then you could have a little bit of a displeasing personality. You could be a little bit of a stuck up. You could be a little bit of a bitch. If you're really good at cutting hair, people will deal with that because it's literally the best haircut in the area, the best haircut in the world. They'll deal with that. Right? And if you're super nice and you got great customer service and you excel in that area and you're like almost a whole pie chart I just showed you full of personality, you could be okay at cutting hair. They'll deal with like a haircut not styling right for a couple of weeks till it grows out. They'll deal with the color not just being perfectly right because of how likable you are. So there are reasons why that you guys can, there are systems that you can put in place to make sure that you're solidifying the fact that you are 100% of that pie chart one way or another. That's super. Hey, Jess, you want to come on the podcast? Come on in. Hey, guys, this is Jess right here. Jess.
Let me get her set up.
Hi.
Let's go.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about
I was listening.
pleasing personality, skills.
Yeah, you can't teach personality.
Why not?
It's what you're born with. You could change your skills, but your personality is your personality.
So someone can't learn the skills of
Yeah,
communication?
but then it's fake. It's not genuine.
Hold on. So someone can't, give it a mic right here. Just plug this back in. Turn that one back up.
Oh,
Cool.
I get myself into.
Here, get here.
Should I get her a chair and set her
She's
up?
kind of short. Can we see her still?
Yeah, we see her.
Here, stand in front of that camera, no?
No, she's good right
Yeah,
there.
you're good?
She's good right there.
You got her?
She may not be in it.
Back up a little bit. Back up. All right, so tell me that right now. So you don't think you could build on personality?
You could build on. I think that if you have an amazing personality and your clients you're likable, like you were saying,
Yeah.
yes, you could build on that. But if you don't have a good personality, you can't really teach somebody how to have a personality.
So the way somebody acts comes from something in their past typically. Like it's a trait they picked up from a parent, from an old boss, from somebody. Right? So first you
Yeah.
have to come to why do they believe they should act that way? Typically it's a belief they have. So you have to change the belief on why they feel that that's the way they should act. And then once you change the belief on why they feel they should act that way, maybe because they're afraid they get taken advantage of, so they feel like they have to act that way.
So you feel like they're overcompensating?
I feel like they have a belief system around acting that way, which is going to yield the result that they're looking for. When they're wrong about it, it's not going to get the result. So they have to change that belief because they feel like their old boss did it that way, so that's how I'm going to do it because I believe he was successful and that's how he acted.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at it that way.
Well, that's why I have the podcast.
You're so knowledgeable.
Because when you
Nick.
change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's the most important thing. So nothing is permanent. Nothing.
Right.
Everything is temporary. So someone may have in their personality trait a stronger affliction to be one way or another. But as long as they're conscious of it, before they react or respond to a question, they could actually think about it and be like, how should I respond to this person and how they're acting in the salon?
Yes, you can
You know,
teach that.
Because some people, like angry might be a personality trait. I'm Italian, so I speak loud. No, you speak loud because you speak loud. It's not because you're Italian. Like,
I don't know about that.
like when
Because
yeah.
I do a lot of this, and I do a lot of them really loud in the salon because I'm Italian.
So what if you were put in a body cast? You would still move your hands?
No, but I'll still be loud. I'll probably be extra loud.
What if you lost your voice?
This guy's got an answer for everything.
So frustrating.
No, you're giving the fact that you're Italian the power of to over you to not be able to whisper or talk normal.
I think I have tried whispering, but I still comes out
Can
loud
you whisper
anyway.
right now?
Yeah, then I can't hear you. But I also can't hear.
But why can't you hear? You can whisper. So what I'm saying is never give anything the power to control something that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you give something the power to control, like if you give the fact that you're Italian of why you have to speak loud, that means you can't control yourself. You can't control your own actions. You simply give it to the fact that you're Italian. Now you can't be a specific type of person.
I didn't say I couldn't do it. I just say that it's easier for me to speak loud and to talk with my hands.
Yeah. So certain owners are like, they have certain personality traits. Like, oh, I'm just a bitch. That's how I am. That's how I was brought up. No, it's not. You won't retain staff members like that.
Right.
I'm so rigid. When you're so rigid in a particular way, then you don't have the chance to grow.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. So your personality could be learned. Communication skills are learned.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can learn how to
Listening,
communicate.
all that it's teachable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So owners out there, like if you don't have the skills of leadership yet, you don't have the management skills yet, you don't have the ability to run a salon like really efficient yet, you have the ability to be honest and lead with integrity and then learn how to communicate with your team to know what areas of your business you have to improve on. And so that's the whole premise of today's conversation. It's about the two skills you truly, or the two parts of being a stylist or being an owner that you really have to focus on. One's skill,
Yeah.
right? And then one's personality,
Yeah.
you know? And then the business also has two parts of it. We won't get into that today. That's going to be people and process. So, but we'll get into that whole different conversation. Cool. Are you good?
Cool. I'm good.
Are you happy you jumped onto the podcast?
I'm so happy. I'm gonna go do my ordering now.
Okay, cool.
Jess, we need to get you in the chair for a full show.
Yeah, we're going to get
Alright.
Jess in the chair for a full
Nick's too
show.
busy. I can never
I'm here every day at 12. Every day at 12, I'm here.
All right. We'll see next.
You could join.
next Tuesday.
I just unplugged it, James. That's cool if I just unplugged it. There's a weird sound coming through the headphones.
All right. I'll do that.
I would just lower the thing.
All right. It was at number 3? Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to jump into a couple Q&As today. We tried doing that the whiteboard today, but we failed with the old microphone.
No, you
The-
heard it.
It was just muffled? All right,
then-
cool.
Then once you got the mic, it was great.
Yeah. I got to work on my writing skills, but you guys get the idea of the pie chart. Some people really don't know what that is. All right, Q&A. How do you have the hard conversation with somebody that their personality sucks? All right, good question, actually. First off, you should kind of make sure when you hire somebody onto your team that it is a good personality. Like they are a good fit for your culture and your salon's brand. Now, when you bring someone on your team, they should have, core values that align with your salon. You should have an interview process that when you hire them, you can get an idea of like who they are as a person. Like why did they get into this career? And as time goes on, if things happen in their life and you don't like certain things they're doing in the salon, I actually just gave this suggestion today on one of my coaching calls. Create some kind of a questionnaire or a post-salon visit. And in there, include things like how they could make the experience better. How do you rate the stylist? And how do you rate the conversation? How do you rate the service? How do you rate the experience? Like all these different factors you want to get feedback on. And then during your one-on-ones, you want to make sure you give that feedback back to your stylist. So if one of the feedback questions were like, how was the experience with your stylist? One of the answers could be, she talked too much about herself. She tells me about her breakup every time I come in. The conversation's so negative. And then that way you have something to give back to that stylist to let them know, hey, maybe you should lay off the conversation about your ex-boyfriend. Maybe you shouldn't be so negative about what's going on with the economy or with the politics and stuff like that, because people leave here not feeling as good as they should because of the conversation you're having with them. So you want to make sure the conversations are always upbeat and uplifting. Like if you can make someone feel better than when they came into the salon, when they're exiting on every aspect, like make sure they're feeling happy when they leave. Make sure they're feeling empowered when they leave. Make sure they're feeling like they're on cloud nine, not just with their hair or their eyebrows or their lashes. They're actually feeling better based on the conversation they had with you as a stylist. And that's how you start building and increasing on your retention rate to get it to 90%. If people come to your salon and they dread the conversation, but they love the haircut, eventually they're not going to feel happy about coming there. So you want to make sure that anything that would make them not like to make them dread going to your salon, you want to eliminate them out of the whole equation. And sometimes you can't really change the parking situation in your salon. You can't change certain aspects of where you're located because you have a lease there, but you could change the experience. And that's what's most important. When they leave your salon, they should feel amazing and they should feel happy that they went there. They should never dread going to your salon because you're going to emotionally dump like your breakup on them. So guys, you have complete control over your retention rate. It's two factors. It's going to be based on your skills and your personality. Owners, you have complete control over your retention rate with staff. It's based on your personality and based on your leadership skills and your ownership skills. So if you don't have the skills yet to really, truly deliver an amazing salon, you can really work on your personality and make sure that that's dynamite so people want to stay in your chair and they want to stay in your salon. So if James, any more questions in the chat right now going on?
Not that I see.
Nothing, no more questions. Guys, if you have any questions right now, drop them in the chat.
Well, Mira put earlier, she said you can't change your personality, but you can change your skills.
So no, you could actually change your personality. You could change the kind of person that you want to be and the experience you want to have and the vibration that like the frequency you vibrate on. So, because if somebody has, let's say, a bitchy personality, I think it's based on something to do every day. It's a thought they have every day. It's a guard they have up because they feel like they need to have that personality based on a past event in their life. And I'm sure they're not bitchy all the time. There's moments in time when they act happy. And they have to start thinking about that. Like how many people here work out watching the call right now? How many times have you left a workout, except unless you got injured, of course, that you don't feel like you're in a good mood? Typically, you have natural endorphins and epinephrine and dopamine that gets released when you work out. So it's called a runner's high for a reason. Like you have like a natural high that happens from exercise. So if you feel good when you work out, do it every day. Like start putting yourself in the mindset of wanting to be happy. And how you do that is by naturally increasing the happy chemicals in your body. And what are you focusing on? Like people who are unhappy focus on negative things. People who are happy focus on positive things. So you could 100% change your personality. Just start focusing on things that make you happy every single day, all day long. Create a gratitude list. It's going to be some work. It's not going to be easy, but if you put the work in, you could 100% change your personality. Know who has a really good video on that? Dr. Joe Dispenza. He has a whole breakdown of how you could actually change your personality and your character traits. And it has a lot to do with you reliving in the past. So if you guys have a bad situation that happened to you in your life or a negative situation, and you start thinking about that situation over and over again, and you start explaining it to every single person in your chair, and you start talking to everyone around you about that situation, Your body and your brain doesn't know if you're reliving it again or if it's in the past because you produce the same kind of chemicals that you produced during the event that happened in your life. So when you relive this by having the conversation about the breakup and about the incident that happened in your life over and over again, like we do as hairstylists, like you all have that person in the salon who they have client after client that they got to keep telling the same story to, and they keep on reliving that moment of their life. They're just ingraining it in their DNA that is how they're going to live their life over and over again. And they're just the type of person that goes through situations like that. After time, that becomes their personality. So you have to stop talking about things that don't serve you. Stop talking about outcomes that you didn't like the ending of. Like rewrite the chapter of your life that you don't like that just happened, and then focus on the future and speak about things you want to happen the way you want them to happen. And you'll start living in the future the way you want it to be and envisioning it and giving gratitude for the universe or God or whatever you believe in to actually make these things happen to you. But when you're living in the past, that's all you could focus on. Yeah, you're not going to be able to change your personality. You do have 100% control over how your personality is. Like there's certain character traits that we have ingrained in our DNA, but you could change that. Like your brain is placid. Like your personality is placid. You can become a happy person. You could become a person who is always in a good mood. Like don't settle for being in a bad mood. That sucks. It's low vibration. Do things that put you in a high frequency, in a high vibration, and eventually those days will compound into weeks, will compound into months, will compound into years. And guess what that's called? That's a personality trait. You then become the kind of person who has a great, pleasing, happy personality rather than a miserable bitch who's always in a bad mood because you're just living in the past and you're not happy with your circumstances. So, James, any more questions in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you enable people on your team when they manipulate any other person who's most naive? I don't know.
Repeat the question again.
Spelling. I think there's spelling errors.
It's all right.
If you could fix that. Do you enable people on your team when they manipulate any other person who's
If any person manipulates another person on my team, it gets addressed very quickly. If sometimes manipulation has to happen for the person's growth, like you have to almost talk a person into doing the haircut they're afraid to do. And if you manipulate them in a way that's positive for their own growth, it's very different. So how are you explaining manipulation? If it's for the benefit of that person by lying, cheating, or doing something sneaky, that's not cool. And I can nip that right in the bud. That's like right under gossip to me. If you guys want to learn a good book on manipulation and learn how not to be manipulated, 48 Laws of Power. Watch that book. Watch that book. Listen to that book or read the book. The 48 Laws of Power is a book by Robert Greene. And the first law, which is an amazing book, but the first law is never outshine the master. And so for a lot of stylists out there who feel like they are better than the owner in the salon, the reason why your owner doesn't like you is because you're probably always trying to outshine the owner of the salon. And there's a big difference between adding value and supporting them and their role as the owner and trying to outshine them and proving that you're better than them. So you never outshine the master. That whole book, if you guys read it from start to finish, will change your life. And I'm not change it in a way where you want to go manipulate people. It will change your life in a way that you cannot be now manipulated. That's the importance of that book. It's such a great book. So you can really see how people are trying to manipulate the conversation when you read that book. Anything else, James, in there?
Nope. I just put more questions in the chat, but nothing.
All right, cool.
People are joining though.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're talking about. I'm going to rewrap the whole thing again because we had that whole incident happen.
Send them back to YouTube too.
Guys, you can watch the whole thing on YouTube. I'm going to retake that actually from the top. We got new people joining. I'm going to get this ready here. I'm going to turn this up. How many people in the chat, James?
There's I think 25.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Can you hear me on this mic, James? You got the headphones in? Am I good on this mic? Am I good on this mic? Going once, going twice?
No.
What number is it? 3? 3? I'm on 3. You don't hear it?
Oh, hold on. I'm an idiot.
Are you good?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool. Did you have to switch the microphone on there? All right, guys. So I'm going to recap the class what we were just talking about on this podcast. And for those of you who are watching in the beginning, we're taking this from the top. All right. So now we got a clean slate right here. And James, where's my black marker? It's right here. Beautiful. All right, cool. Guys, so when it comes to your retention rate, we're going to redo this whole thing again. Retention really is based on two factors. It's going to be your skills that you have to actually deliver the thing that you're doing, and it has to do with your personality. So people won't come back to you if you're a bitch, and people won't come back to you if you really messed their hair up. But if you're really good at hair, you could be a little bit more of a bitch. So let me explain that to you guys. And the way I like to explain this is with a basic pie chart, like from school. And we're going to go right here. Here is the whole business pie chart right here. This is your retention pie, okay? We're going to split it down the middle. In order to be successful, this pie chart has to be an equal amount of personality. I'm going to put a big P right here for personality, okay? Or it has to be completely full of skill. There's a big S for skill right here. And at any given time in your career, when this pie chart's not 100%, like let's say you just got out of school and your skills aren't really up to where they should be, and you're like, maybe, what's that? We're going to call that 2/3 of the skill. So you're 30% skill, which is fine, and now you're 50% personality. You're kind of likable. So you're 20% missing here. There's 20% of this pie chart not there. So something has to happen. This is going to hurt your retention rate. Now, how you make up for this is, A, you got to get better at doing hair. And once you get better at doing hair, you're complete again. But you could just be more likable. Just be more friendly. Be more funny. Be a nicer person. Be a better human. And you'll fill in this gap very, very quickly. Like you could do that overnight just by being funnier and by being more likable. If you want the secret to that, work out before work every single day, and you'll be in a better mood. It's known to enhance your mood. Now, here's where the issue happens. Let's say now you're 30% personality, 30% skill. This whole piece of the pie now is gone. You're missing 40% of the experience for somebody. You will not retain any clients. You'll come in once or twice and then leave. Right? So you have to fix that. You have to make sure that your personality is making up the difference or your skills are making up the difference. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So when I ask somebody why their retention rate is so low, it's one of two things. Either you suck at cutting hair or you suck as a person. Sorry, those are just facts. So become better at cutting hair and become a better human. You'll be more likable and more people want to stick around your chair. Now, owners, this whole thing has a lot to do with you as well. So if you're the type of owner that can't keep stylists in your salon and you don't know why, let's take a look at this now. It's the same exact pie chart, right? New owners out there, you just opened the salon and you really don't have business skills yet. You're brand new. You're no different than a person out of school who just started doing hair. So your skills of being an owner are probably going to be like 25%. You have like some knowledge because you worked in a salon before. And so here are your skills as an owner. They're like 25%. Okay, whatever. If you're really likable, like if you're a superb human being and your personality, we'll just put a big P for personality, fills up 75%, guess what? You are going to attract stylists and you're going to keep stylists because you're so likable. They're going to help support you because they want to support you because they like working there. And then as your business skills develop, you're going to now make up the gap here and have a great pleasing personality, have amazing business acumen. And that's the kind of owner that has a team that doesn't ever go anywhere else. That clear for everybody? Like, it's very, very simple. Like, you guys are overcomplicating business to the point of, like, driving yourselves crazy. Just be great at what you do and be nice. Be very likable, and your business will succeed. Now, owners, if you think you're likable and you think you're nice, right? Maybe your skills are really so bad that you're not making up the difference with your personality. So what I need you guys to do is understand and communicate with your team to make sure you are supporting them in their vision. Too many owners I talk to every day have no idea what the goals of their teams are, what the vision is for their team. If you can't clearly articulate what each one of your team members' vision is and what their goals are, I'm not talking about for the salon. I'm not talking about doing more people in a week. I'm talking about what is their goal for life? Like, what's their purpose for being here? Like, what kind of experiences do they want to have? You have to know that, because when you lead them, you're going to lead them from what's important to them, not what's important for your salon, unless they have like a stock option program, but it's all about the team. You build the team and the team builds the business. So James, I'm going to jump to the other mic, okay? And jump to the other camera. I hope that was a better rendition of the pie chart for you guys. That mic here, it's number 3, right? You said?
Yeah, number 3 is lower.
All right, we're lower. All right, guys, any more questions? Let me know. I'm going to wrap up today's live. If you guys are struggling with like any of this information, whether you're a stylist trying to grow clients in your chair, whether you're an owner trying to really develop and grow a team, DM me the word grow, and we will get you the skills you need to actually grow a salon or grow a business behind the chair or turn your suite into a money-making machine. And you'll be happy. Like if you struggle with wearing all the hats in your salon and you don't know how to really pour into your team, it's because you have to learn how to buy back your time. Like what's your buyback rate? Like what's your like there's so much stuff you need to do, but you don't have to do it all. You have to learn how to buy back your time so it gets done for you. And you're not like trying to wear multiple hats in one day. So if you need help with that, DM me the word grow. Let's get a conversation going and I will help you at least figure out what the problem is and see if I could be of help to you. So thanks for watching, guys. That was today's podcast /live /debacle with the microphones back there. Don't judge my drawing skills, but you guys are awesome. I will see you tomorrow at 12. James? Any more, no questions right before we wrap it up? Nope. Guys, you're awesome. I'll see you tomorrow.
No, never mind. RV Styles asked where she could watch the live that she just jumped in and missed.
The live is going to be on YouTube. Don't mind everything else that, the microphone debacle. Like I said, we're new to this. It's all James's fault. All right, guys, you're great. See you tomorrow at 12.